To take the session forward, I would like to invite Arka. Arka Kanado, an alumnus of the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, has 5 years of experience in different areas of traffic and transportation planning. Currently engaged as future mobility consultant with WSP, Arka has worked on multiple projects which include Chennai-Bangalore Hyperloop Corridor feasibility study in India, as also the TOD master plan at the Makasan in Bangkok, Thailand. He was also involved in the India and Wales public transport model, UK. Today, Arka is going to talk about the planning parameters for mass transit in India and future interventions. So let's welcome Arka.
Yes. So today my topic of presentation is on the planning parameters and future interventions when it comes to mass rapid transit system in the context of India. So starting off, to give you a little flavor of the mass transit system in India. So we have around 760.62 kilometers of system serving across 13 cities in India, and having a total number of stations around 540, with spreading across the tier 1 as well as tier 2 and tier 3 cities in India. So as we can all see, like all the metropolitan cities in India, Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, Bangalore and Chennai, they all have a distinct presence of metro network within them, with ridership values, like Delhi having the largest network of metro in India, about 348 kilometers of operational, and other new phases coming up. So you have a highest ridership there as well, around 4.7 million. And Kolkata and Mumbai, they also have like riderships close to about 1 million. And when it comes to ridership per operational kilometer approximately, we can see like Mumbai with 40,900 ridership per kilometer is very much densely utilized when it comes to metro services compared to the entire Indian scenario. Moving on to the planning parameters for MRTS, what we realize, like while considering these intense capital heavy infrastructure investments, we need to come up with certain planning parameters which decides on the way forward of how we actually approach and plan these mass transit systems in India, especially where India has a like booming population and there's a huge demand for rapid transportation system across all metropolitan cities. So the three major criteria which we usually look into while dealing with the system selection starts off with the spatial structure, followed by the travel demand and the cost implications or the cost constraints. So within the spatial structure, we usually cover the extent of the city, the form of the city, as well as the population or to which the system is going to cater to. And the major important factor which comes into deciding these planning parameters comes at the respect of travel demand, where we have the demand along the transit corridor in terms of passenger per hour in peak direction, the average trip length of the city commute, as well as the system capacity which we want to select and the level of service in which we plan to operate those systems. And largely in India, developing economy like India, the major constraint which comes up in terms of planning these intense infrastructure is the cost aspect of it, like the capital cost as well, capital expenditure as well as the operational expenditure plays a vital role in selecting these parameters. The time required for construction also plays a critical role, followed by the flexibility of upgradation and expanding these mass transit system in the long run plays a critical role. So what we see in terms of system selection, we have different mass transit systems which are usually categorized in the form of the extent of service which they are providing in terms of the capacity mainly. So we can have like the exquisitive high capacity metros serving PHPDT around 60,000 to 90,000 passengers per hour in peak direction. And we have a ranged capacity for medium capacity, high capacity LRT, BRT, as well as monorail, which are like different mass transit systems associated in the Indian context. What is critical to note here is the overlap of the light capacity, which usually ranges from 10,000 plus pph/pdt to 30,000. So there are multiple options of mass transit system which people can explore. And again, it comes down not only into the capacity while choosing these systems, but the other factors which come into play, which is definitely the cost parameters. As you can see, like as we go down the table from the metro system to BRT, there is a huge difference in the cost implications per kilometer. And as we all know, these public projects are very capital intensive. So cost usually comes up as a very huge factor. So what we can say in terms of like the ideal parameters for operating metros in India, usually we can say that with the pph/pdt ranging from 30,000 and above, with an average trip length of 7 to 8 kilometers and above, provides an ideal scenario for choosing metro in this developing economy. Moving ahead with the planning approach, which we usually see in this aspect, where we have a conventional transport planning approach versus the holistic area-based approach, which we usually consider while taking up the metro design and planning projects in India, where we usually give more emphasis on the financial costs, which are goes to the government. It's a like very much subsidy based and capital intensive projects. The vehicle operating cost savings, which we usually consider the value of time savings, as we know, like these capital intensive projects are not that much profit seeking. So we need to have that social cost and the economic cost associated with it, so that we can show savings to the society in terms of vehicle operating cost, value of time, accidents, as well as the environment impact assessment. But what we see here at the current context is like when we move ahead to the more holistic area-based planning, the strategic land use impacts are always a little bit overlooked, or it's not taken care of that well. Because with the intervention which we have in terms of planning in India at this moment, we'll consider like very much localized and micro level economic impacts, but we usually tend to ignore or not analyze properly the wider economic impacts which generates out of the transit corridors. Same goes with the parking costs and all, which are associated with the same. And there is a challenge in India to do a proper multimodal integration of different modes of these mass transits, and along with the feeder network and all, for proper means of egress to the system to and from, and also the first mile last mile connectivity. As a result of which, what we see there is like sometimes there may be overestimated ridership forecasts in some of these metro projects, and the ridership projected does not match with the expected footfall or the footfall which is coming. As a result, there is some little bit of discrepancies, and the result of which I think the cause behind this is like the lack of proper first mile last mile connectivity or integration with different modes of transport within that main MRT corridor, as a result of which this problem usually arises. And also like resettlement and rehabilitation is also like the plans are like usually in the Indian context is not looked upon in a great extent compared to the other developed countries. So some of the future interventions which can like definitely help in planning the metros in a better way in the upcoming tier cities, which the government of India has already envisioned. The first one of them, in my opinion, should definitely be the multimodal integration, where we bring the different sets of organizational entities in the same platform to have an integrated and seamless delivery of services, as well as integrated service provided across the public transport network. These integrations can be like defined in the under 3 levels of integration. You can have the physical integration, which includes the physical system, the planning of the trunk network, as well as the identifying the major and minor interchange nodes and integrate them properly with the land use surrounding it. Then comes the fare integration, where you integrate fares from different transit systems together and have a sort of provision for the future, like single ticketing system. Like we have examples in the Western countries, like in the UK, you have the Oyster card and all, where you can use it to roam around in any public transport system in London. And like in Delhi also, the initiative has already started with the smart cards of Delhi Metro, which you can now use in the feeder DTC network and cluster buses network as well. And lastly comes the institutional integration, where different authorities associated with especially the public authorities associated with the transport operations can be clubbed down or brought under the same umbrella, where we can integrate the other with private operators as well, like, and promote more futuristic uh, offerings like park and ride share, and all those things. To improve the first mile, last mile connectivity, the intervention which can like be a game changer in the Indian scenario is mobility as a service, where in the current situation where we have very much isolated travel happening across different modes of transport, and we have to like plan our journey quite to the extent of perfection in order to actually cater to some savings in our journey times and all. But with the intervention of mass model, which is like already becoming very much popular in the Asia Pacific regions as well as other parts of UK and the US, where you brought all these functionalities under a single window of operation, known as the mobility as a service, where you can go ahead and provide integrated service in form of the start point to end point journey, which include your feeder network as well as your line haul, and give you a seamless experience of travel, which is where I guess like most developed countries are also going forward in the post pandemic period as well, once we start recovering from COVID and all. And I guess this is the way forward for India as well, like to adapt these models. Lastly, to conclude, I'd like to show one international case study, which is related to MTR, the mass transit rail in Hong Kong. That's the China, and like to highlight the West Kowloon terminus out of that. So as we can see, like Hong Kong, China caters to around 1,050 square kilometers of area, having a 7.4 million population to cater to. And what's interesting to see and learn from this case study is their PT modal share, which is around 80% for the entire city, because it has a very integrated multimodal transit routes for the NTR, which is served by around 218 kilometers of LRT and MRT combined, 13 kilometers of tram, and other modes of transport as well. So WKT interchange, or the West Kowloon terminus, actually acts as a gateway to the Hong Kong, which is an interchange along the Hong Kong Shenzhen Express line, and it acts as like the architecture as well as the blending of the like the circulation and overall distribution of passengers within this terminal is very much seamless, and this can be an ideal case study to look forward to and explore its best practices into the Indian context as well.